Check, check. Welcome back to the, oh, that was kind of loud. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm gonna be going over my 5 favorite ways to progressive overload my workouts to make sure that I am progressing in muscle building or strength building, whatever, depending on what your goals are for lifting. So it's pretty simple, it's nothing crazy here, but before I go into them, the main thing you need to know is most people's problem is consistency. If you're not going consistently to the gym, you don't have, let me silence my phone here. You don't have a consistent program you're doing, it's gonna be really hard to track progress to make sure you are progressing. So before you start implementing all this different stuff, make sure you're following some kind of routine, making yourself go. Even if you don't feel like it, just go. You'll almost always feel better after the fact, except for the few times when, I dislocated my shoulder in the gym once. I kind of wished I hadn't gone that time, but you learn from your mistakes and what kind of things you shouldn't do. Anyways, first main thing for progressive overloading is training in rep ranges. So what I mean by that is instead of doing some kind of like 3 sets of 10 for your bench press, what I typically do is have 10 to 12 reps is what I shoot for, or depending on what you're doing, it could be 12 to 15, 15 to 20, 6 to 8, depending on what your goals are. But for this, my bench press, I shoot for 10 to 12 reps. So say I have 135 pounds. I do that, get to 10, and I fail there. And these numbers are based on going to failure because it's a lot easier to gauge your progress if you're going all out and you're like, hey, I can't do any more reps, rather than thinking, oh, I had maybe 2 or 3 reps left in the tank, or your rate of perceived exertion, all that type of stuff. I just go till failure on almost all of my working sets, not the warm-ups, but the working sets. And that's what we're talking about here. So I'm gonna stay on that 135 pounds until I get to 12 reps. So I'm gonna keep staying on that weight, my future workouts. Once I hit 12 reps, then I'm gonna bump up the weight. So now I'm gonna do 140, 145. Usually, if I go up 10 pounds, I can usually hit 10. So then I'm shooting for at least the bottom of that range again. So 145, get 10 reps now. I'm gonna stay on that weight till I get to 12 and then bump up the weight again. And you slowly keep progressing. I've gone from, only being able to do 135 to now almost 225 for 10. So it works, it's a slow process. That's the main thing to keep in mind, and just stay motivated, track your progress so then you know if it's working for you. Step number 2 is to use,
Sorry, I have to get there today.
Jill's making some, what's it called? French toast. Step number 2 is slowing down your reps. It's really easy to get on, let's say the bench press again, and you just start hammering out those reps because you want to hit that number 10 or 12 or whatever, so you can progress to heavier weight the next time. But the cool thing is, you don't necessarily have to just keep adding more weight or more reps. You could use the same weight and slow down your reps. Say you did those 10 reps in 12 to 15 seconds, slow it down so you're doing a 1 to 2 second eccentric and then push the weight up. And you stretch that set out to 30 to 40 seconds, there's a lot more time under tension for your muscles, and you're gonna really feel them start to burn and engage. And you'll be like, I really feel my muscle contracting a lot more by the end of the set, and might realize you could build even more muscle with lower weight. You don't always have to keep pushing the envelope. And the good thing about that too is, for instance, I'm getting close to 10 reps with 225 now, and my elbows have been hurting lately, just all the extra weight, the extra stress. You could just do slower reps with a lighter weight. You get the same result of building muscle, but it's easier on your joints. And I know it doesn't sound as cool to be like, hey, I can bench press 225 for 10, as opposed to, I can do 185 for 10. But you do that 185 for those really slow reps and push them up, and then progress the same thing with your rep ranges from there. Can make a huge difference. Number 3, using pause reps. So we already started with the rep ranges and then even slowing down the reps. You can go a step further than that and do pause reps. So say you're doing some squats, instead of just squatting down and popping right back up, you can slow down the rep like we said before and pause at the bottom for 1 or 2 seconds. You're increasing your time under tension once again and really putting even more strain on your muscles without having to jack up the weight really high to get progress. And I tell you what, when you stretch out your sets long like that, doing slower reps, pause reps, you are gonna notice a huge difference and realize, I don't have to lift 400 pounds to get big legs. I could do 200 pounds or even less, So just being smart, making sure you're not going crazy. Good form, that's the great thing about this. It helps you to have good form too, because if your form's bad, when you squat down there and you stop, you might hurt something. So you wanna make sure your form is right, the weight is light enough so you can handle it. And what this also does is it takes away the momentum or the bounce you get at the bottom of your rope. Say you're bench pressing, you're going really fast, bouncing it off your chest, or even not going all the way to your chest, you still have kind of a spring in your muscles coming back up. Same with squats, you squat down and spring back up. You stop, you're forcing yourself to hold the weight in that position, and then you have to move from a dead stop, and that makes it even harder in helping you to progress even further. Number 4, what I like to incorporate sometimes are negatives. So what this is essentially you've gone to failure on your set, but you're a lot stronger on the eccentric or the lowering portion of your lift than you are on the concentric. So say for instance, you're doing a bench press. You got it up for the last rep, you could still lower the bar as slow as you can. You're putting a lot of strain on your muscles, more time under tension, and then have a partner there with you to lift the weight back up to the starting point. And I'll do this with only when you have a partner, obviously, because it's not smart to lower the weight down to your chest when you can't lift it back up, then you're stuck there. So use a partner if there's someone around for this, which I don't do a lot of these, but when I'm with a friend or something, then I'll usually incorporate them in. So it's not something I'm doing all the time, and it is more effective. But you lower that weight down, they help you bring it back up, lower it down, bring it back up. And you can do this with other things too, like say a lat pull down. You get to the end, you can't pull it down any further, you have your partner help you pull the bar down, and then you let it back up as slow as possible and do a few extra ones at the end of your set, and it makes a huge difference for sure. And this is something I typically like to do with heavier compound movements when I have someone helping me out. And if this has helped you so far, make sure you hit the like button and throw a comment down in the bottom of what your favorite type of ways to progressive overload are, and see if it's different from anything we're talking about here. So number 5, the last one, are incorporating drop sets into your workout. And what this is, say for instance, you do a tricep press down. You're gonna take that, do as many as you can to failure within the rep range that you have, 12 to 15, whatever you're doing for your workout. Once you hit failure, let the weight back up, take the pin out, go to a lighter weight, and then do as many as you can from there. And I'll usually do that all the way back up to the stack till I'm like on 20 pounds or something, and you end up doing 30 reps or more, and your triceps are fried after that. The big thing to keep in mind with this is that I typically only do this at the end of my workouts with accessory movements. So I'm not doing this with bench pressing or squatting, deadlifting. I'm doing this with tricep extensions, bicep curls, lateral raises, leg curls, leg extensions, calf raises, the extra things you do at the end of your workout. And I usually only do this on my last set as well. So say I'm doing 3 sets of those tricep press downs, I'm gonna do my normal, 10 to 12, 12 to 15 rep ranges. And then on the last set, I'll incorporate that drop set, because your muscles are probably gonna be fried after you finish doing that. So those are 5 examples of ways you can progressive overload your workout to make sure that you are progressing in your lifts and getting stronger and your muscles getting bigger. And the really good thing about these things, like slowing down reps, all that type of stuff, it really helps you to get a good mind-muscle connection, learn how to engage your muscles, and make sure you are working them properly. But as a bonus tip, another thing you can do is kind of like a rest pause type of set. So say for example, I'm doing some bicep curls. I want to do 10 to 12 or something, and I get to 9, I'm like, oh, I can't do anymore. Just stop for 2, 3, 5 seconds, rest a little longer, and then crank out the rest. And maybe you can get another 2 to 3 reps out of that, but just making sure that you rest a little bit, you're still holding the weight down there, getting them done, and then you finished your set. And that's typically what I do if maybe I put on a little too much weight, more than I thought I could. Maybe I'm more fatigued, but I still want to get through the set. And if I need to, I'll lower the weight on the next set. But just another thing you can do there. The big thing is push yourself, stay consistent, make sure that you're not wasting your time at the gym and just going in and like, oh, I'll do that today, I'll do that. And I have multiple videos on the channel of my leg day, my chest day, my back day, and how I do that stuff. So if you're looking for some type of program, I also have a full body beginner workout one. I'll link all that stuff in the description. Instagram has lots of stuff that we do there. Big thing is stay consistent, make sure your diet's in check, and you will make progress. See you soon.